Howdy everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Steve here and I am working on building a desk in my RV. I live full-time in my RV and I'm glad you're along with me for the journey. As you know, the saga continues. We got ourselves a bigger truck because we wanted a bigger RV. And one of the reasons why we wanted a bigger RV was because I need a place to do my work. I need a place to edit my videos and I gotta have a place to tinker with my electronics because that's what I do on my other channel, linked up at the top here for you. And doing it in the other trailer at the dinette wasn't fun for anybody, not even me. So let's get building. There are a few things that I know about RV construction. Number one is there are no studs at 16 inches on center. They just put studs up where they're absolutely needed and they're not structural. Number two is there is nothing that is level. So you won't see me use a level at any time during this project. What I'm doing is I'm making measurements off of similar reference points. So the shelves are measured off the floor, and then the desk is measured off the shelves, and then the next shelf is measured off the desk, and so on. Also, this is a workbench, not a fancy office. I am going to invite you all in during portions of recording, but for the most part, I'm not entertaining. I'm going to be building stuff and working on stuff and filming stuff on this bench, as opposed to trying to impress somebody across the banker's table or something along those lines. And I'm not a carpenter. I want a desk that works and I want it now. Let's get building. Drill bit. But what that will do is clamp down the split part with a new screw. And it won't split because it's drilled. Trick I taught myself just now was to take this screw hole here, get all the board lined up, and then that's where your screw should go. Alright, here we go, desk support in. And now I don't need to take those stickers off. I was wondering how I was going to get those off. So now I need to notch out where that window goes because the desk bisects the window. I don't have the right tools for this, but we're going to make it work. Don't try this at home, folks. I'm a professional. These little batteries really come in handy for camping, outdoor tool work, extension cord, etc. You can use this for anything. And there she is. Windows all notched out, still fully functional. And what I'll do is when I screw it down, I'll push that back into the corner as far as it'll go to line up with the front here. And the span is a little big, so what I'll also do is put 2 legs down in front with some of the support rails that I have. I've got some vertical supports under there. I'm going to go ahead and secure those to the floor and to the underside of the table with these angle brackets, but I'm not 100% sure that's where I want them. No matter where I put them, they're going to be in the way. So I'm going to live with them like this for a bit, and we'll see what happens next. So now I have a shelf above the desk that holds my boxes, and there's the desk. And check this out. From the bunkhouse, there's actually an electrical outlet under there, and a light over there in that corner. I'm still going to put lights underneath, and then I'm going to get out the Dremel and cut the bottoms of these screws off, because I didn't want to go back down and get a whole other box of screws just to do this job. One of the things that my dad taught me about cutting wood is make your 2 marks, make 2 reference marks. So I've got to cut this at 74 inches. I'm going to cut the bulk of it off to make the long cuts a little bit easier. And I'm going to make my mark on one side of the 4-foot board, and I'm going to make my mark on the other side of the 4-foot board. And then I'm going to use this as my straight edge to draw a line between those 2 marks. It's all I got, and it's going to have to do, and it will do. Beat it up at the end there a little bit. Cleaned it right up. There we go. 1 desktop. Done. Okay, so I just switched the measurements on that side, and the reason why I did that is because one side of that board is a factory cut edge with a nice fancy saw, and the other side is me in a Corps of Engineers damn camping park, and I want the nice pretty edge to be showing out to everybody, as simple as it seems for what I mentioned earlier, but that's the reason why I flipped the measurements over. So try and maintain your factory cut edges to the viewing side of the consumer, me in this case. It's not so much measure twice, cut once, as it is measure once, second guess yourself. I was right the first time. Watch this idea. Done, look at that. Learn something new. Whew, okay, so this is fun. I am using a old-fashioned, I can't even get the thing out, one of these type of battery-operated DeWalt saws. And then I have the newfangled batteries in it for the newfangled DeWalt tools. And with the way I have the saw adjusted, the table is hitting the battery. And every time I get just that far in, it goes crazy. I thought I was cutting into the picnic table. I didn't cut the picnic table at all, I promise. But that's what the problem is. And all I need to do is lower this fence down a little bit in order to make it work. And then right here, this is what I was talking about. There is a stud here, and then there's nothing there at all. I don't know if you can see that flex or not, but look at that. There's nothing there at all. And then nothing and nothing and nothing, and then there's a stud back there in the corner. So even though this is a shelf support for this little tiny shelf, it has to be that long because that's where the strength is all the way out there. Yay, RV construction. Overall though, I think this turned out pretty fantastic. When I saw this piece of plywood in the shop, I was like, oh, look at all those knots. That is beautiful. And they're actually, you know, they're sanded. It's nice. It's not ACX or BCX. This is furniture grade plywood, as they call it. I think that turned out nice. Then over here I have the legs on, so this is nice and strong, and they are screwed in the bottom, and there's a couple of extra pieces of wood left over, because maybe I might decide to do something else in the future, like put in a little shelf under there to hold the printer or something like that. I don't know. But always thinking, always improving. All right, folks, I've got the desk all built on this side, and I have the workbench all built on that side, and they're kind of a mirror copy of each other. I was going to do a standing desk at first, but I couldn't figure out what the right height would be, and I'd have to live with it for quite a while, so I just went with two desks, and that way I can sit in this chair and spin around back and forth and work on a whole bunch of different things. Let me give you a quick tour of what this thing turned out to be. And before you say anything, y'all know any flat surface tends to gather stuff, so it's already getting to be a little bit messy in here. For some reason, there is a mirror on the back of this door, and I don't know why it's there, but it's already there, and it makes the place feel a little bit bigger inside. Behind me, we have a cabinet that was in between the two bunks, and there are two doors, and there's a clothing rod in there, and then there are 4 drawers down below, and a little flat space up top to gather some stuff. This is some leftover trim work and some construction materials and some other stuff. There is electric up there and TV coax, which I believe runs to it either goes to the back of the RV, to the park TV, or it goes to the antenna on the roof, which is a TV antenna, and I don't have much use for that. Down here I have my printer. There are the lights underneath the upper shelves. On the upper shelves I have the USPS priority mailboxes. You can see there are all kinds of different colors and stuff from different usages and ages and places they were shipped from and whatnot. There is a current set of projects that I am working on right here. That is one of our antenna kits that we make and sell. Radio that I'm doing a review on, some external storage of old videos, the laptop, the spare screen, and some more stuff. That's some brownies left over from the Hamfest that we were just at. More projects in boxes. This is the new desk. Like I said, it's already gathering some stuff. Again, that's another box full of external drives that are in need of examination. More video projects, more postal mailboxes up here on this shelf. Now I have all of this space in here that I need to start working on projects and getting some of them out of here so I can make room for some new projects to come in. This has been pretty interesting and pretty eye-opening on learning the construction of how RVs are built. Here's something that's really interesting. This cabinet that is, you would think it's attached to the wall, but it's actually built into the wall. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Nope, that's a stud. That's pretty solid. Is it still a stud over here? Yeah. But this cabinet is actually deeper. There's probably another 2 feet behind that wall, and they did it to make that wall flat up front, which is nice, but it's technically a really bad design for a trailer to have light weight on the tongue. You want more tongue weight so that the trailer doesn't sway as much and the truck is in control of the trailer, not the trailer in control of the truck. The farther back you put the weight on the trailer, the more the trailer controls the truck. So knowing that, now I need to figure out what to do with that space, and I'm thinking I'll put like an access hatch and shove some batteries in there or something, because really that's just a lot of wasted space up there that I could use. And it's like 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet deep, and then it is as tall as it can be to get past the rounded nose of the trailer. But again, just completely wasted space. They weren't thinking when they designed this trailer out. And then I was telling you about these shelf rails and desk supports being out as long as they are because there aren't any studs in these walls. I don't know if you can see that flex on camera, but that thing flexes because it's just a piece of paper, essentially. I mean, it's about that thick. It's really crazy. Who knows? Either way, it has been fun. This is not the final evolution of this desk. This is just, let's get started, learn what we don't know, and then start making notes for revision number 2. So all told, we were looking at 2 pieces of plywood and 8 2x2s and a box of screws in order to get this job done. I used the DeWalt tools, the impact driver, the drill motor, and the circular saw, the skill saw. I don't know what you call those things because it depends on where you are in the country and who calls what where. But those are the 3 big tools that I used. I did use an oscillating tool to cut the notch out on this desk, and then I used my Leatherman to cut the notch out on this side of the desk for the window, and either one worked. It was a conversation I had in my head, and maybe you've had this conversation with yourself before. Is it more lazy to get the power tool from the truck down the hill, get the extension cord, plug the extension cord in, get the tool set up, and then cut the little notch out? Or is it more lazy to use the wrong tool for the job, wrong tool, the Leatherman has a nice wood saw built in, and get it done right away without having to do all that walk and setup? I've been struggling with that one for a long time. Right tool for the right job and all that, but I didn't bring any of the right tools with me for this job. So there's that too. I think we're talking a little under $150 total for the project. And there are still a couple of things I need to do. The chair that I am sitting in right now has got wheels. So every time I travel, I need to lay it on its side so it doesn't roll back and forth and destroy everything in here. What I think I'm gonna do is get a couple of screw-on loops and then run a bungee cord around it, and then I'll be able to bungee cord the chair to the desk and stop it from moving. It doesn't, if I'm in an accident, everything in this trailer is going flying, whether it's laying on its side or sitting upright or whatever the case may be. What I need to do is just kind of convince it that it wants to stay where it already is, and that doesn't take a whole lot of convincing. Thanks for coming along on the build journey, and if you want to see more about my life in my RV as I travel around the country and try to live for a living, then be sure you are subscribed by clicking that button down below. Otherwise, there's a video right over here I think you might enjoy next. I'll see you over there.